The former U.S. President Donald Trump is expected to turn himself in on Tuesday after a grand jury indicted him. And his office now says he will speak in Florida on Tuesday evening.
Well, I think this is obviously a case of great consequence and a case that's never happened before. So it's novel in and of itself.
So Trump's been indicted in connection to payments made to adult film star Stormy Daniels before the 2016 election. He's the first former U.S. president to be charged with a crime, and he has repeatedly called the trial politically motivated.
We will take the indictment. We will dissect it. The team will look at every potential issue that we will be able to challenge, and we will challenge. And of course, I very much anticipate a motion to dismiss coming because there's no law that fits this. And you have a situation where, the federal government, the Department of Justice, turned this matter down. The FEC, which governs federal election laws, said there's no violation here. Yet somehow a state prosecutor has taken a misdemeanor and cobbled together to make it a felony by alleging a violation of federal campaign violation.
All right, joining us now is Joseph Moreno, former U.S. federal prosecutor and fellow National Security Institute. Thanks for your time.
Sure, Morella, good to be with you.
You heard what the lawyer had to say, that there's no law that quite fits this. We don't have a list of actual charges, we understand. But do you see this allegation that there's no law that fits this has merit?
Well, I mean, again, as you pointed out, we don't really know what we're dealing with because the indictment, which contains the actual charges, is not available. It remains sealed for at least another day or so. But what we think we know requires a combination of New York state law coupled with federal campaign finance law. If that's true, and it's an if, it is unprecedented, right? It's not something that it has been done before, at least in any modern sense, in New York State. So it could be that prosecutors have a very novel theory on their hands, and it will be subject to being challenged and maybe even being thrown out before it even gets to a trial and a jury.
Okay, so we know Trump will arrive in New York on Tuesday. Walk us through what happens.
Well, I mean, it's going to be interesting, right? I've said before on other programs, I don't think it's going to be as dramatic as people think. I don't think there's going to be handcuffs, a perp walk, a mug shot that's made public, at least not by the government. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office is co-located with the courthouse. So most likely, Donald Trump's motorcade will pull up. He will be guided by the Secret Service, and there will be sort of a shared custody for the few hours that it takes between the Secret Service, the FBI, and the New York Police Department, and the court officers. There will be some processing, probably a photograph, fingerprints, and then Donald Trump will be taken before a judge. And at that point, he'll enter a plea. Almost everyone says not guilty. You can always change it later. So he'll enter a not guilty plea. They will set the terms of his release. There shouldn't be any kind of bail because it's a nonviolent crime, and he'll be released. And then he, being the showman that he is, I mean, he can certainly go out there and give information and details about what happened there. But as far as the rest of us, we won't otherwise know unless Donald Trump tells us.
Will the courtroom not be open for that time?
It most likely will not. One, because these initial appearances are usually they're not televised, certainly, and they're usually not public. Also because of the extreme security that applies to this specific case. I can almost guarantee it will not be an open courtroom.
Okay, Trump, as you know, plans to speak Tuesday evening from Florida. That's what we understand. Can or would the judge put some sort of publication ban in place?
I mean, that's been theorized, and it's certainly a possibility. The problem is there's so much that's already been discussed here. You have Donald Trump, of course, doing his thing. You have Michael Cohen. You have Stormy Daniels, who are most likely going to be prime witnesses in this case. They've already been on television this week. So it's most likely that a judge's gag order would not be respected, and it's probably going to be very difficult to enforce. That being said, a judge certainly is free to impose that because it does lead to a more civil, a more cooperative trial, and they can see what happens.
Do you think what he has to say could negatively affect the case, Donald Trump?
What Donald Trump has to say? I mean, from a perspective of a defense lawyer, I have to think he's probably among the most difficult clients you could possibly have. I would be, if I was his attorney, I'd be begging him not to say anything because it can only really hurt you in court, right? You might think you win some points politically among your base, and that may or may not be true. But as far as the legal aspect of it, the less anyone says, the better.
Joseph Moreno, good to have you on this, sir. Thank you for your time.